Hi, I'm Shannon Kelly with Children's Aid Society in Clearfield County. I'm the Adoption and Foster Care Program Manager here at the agency, and today we're just going to review some of the most common questions that families have whenever they're looking into becoming a foster family. So, to be a foster parent, you have to be 21 years of age. Clearances that you need to become a foster parent are the Pennsylvania State Police, the Pennsylvania Child Line clearance, and your FBI fingerprints. So for anyone in the home that is 18 years of age or older, they will need all three of these clearances. We also always remind families for the state police and the child line clearance, you have to choose foster care or adoption as your purpose. We can't accept any that say employment or volunteer. So we always like to make sure families are aware of that first off so that they can get the clearances they need and don't have to reapply for them. So I always tell families that we have to collect a lot of information about you. The reason we do that is to make sure that we learn more about your family, but also that we can ensure that it is a loving, safe, and stable home for a child in need. So we're looking for things such as identification. So we'll ask you for a copy of your driver's license, a copy of your birth certificate. With your birth certificate, we do ask that both birth parents' names are listed, unless, of course, maybe a birth father is not known. But we do ask that mother and father's names are listed, and again, that's just to ensure identification. We also ask for copies of your Social Security cards. Then we kind of move on to things that we need to ensure that your home is safe. So we're looking for homeowners or renters insurance, a well water test if you do have well water. We're looking for vehicle registration, insurance, and inspection stickers. And again, this is just to ensure that anybody transporting the child, that the vehicle is licensed and registered and safe for transporting. The other thing that we look for, kind of related to the home, is if you have pets in the home, we do have to have verification that the pets have received their rabies vaccination. And if it's a dog, we need current dog licenses as well. So we get questioned a lot about, do I have to own my own home to be a foster parent? And you do not. You can certainly rent or own, either is fine. We do just ask for that renter's or homeowner's insurance. You do not have to be married to be a foster family. We do have foster families that are single parents, and we have families that are in committed relationships. They just might not be married. And again, that's fine. If you are in a relationship but not married, we do have to take the other applicant, significant other, through the process as well to ensure that they meet all of their criteria and are able to be approved as well. You can have your own children. We have many families that have their own biological children and they just want to open their home to children in need. And then we have a lot of families that don't have biological children in the home, and that is perfectly fine as well. Often we get asked if there are a lot of children available for placement. And as a private foster care agency, we are contracted with county children and youth agencies across the state. And when they are in need of placements for kiddos, they will contact us and give us information about the child, and then we reach out to our available approved families to see if any are available to accept the children. So while we do not take placement or custody of the children in the community, the County Children and Youth Agency does, and then reaches out to us to help identify a family. Any child that is 5 years of age or older must be in a bedroom of the same sex. So if they're under 5 years old, a little boy and a little girl could certainly share the same room. But once they hit that age of 5, they would have to be in separate bedrooms, one for the little boy and one for the little girl. If you have your own biological children in the home and you take in a placement of a little girl and you have your own biological little girl, they can certainly share a bedroom. The foster child does not have to have their own separate bedroom. We just have to ensure after the age of 5 that they're in a gender specific bedroom. The approval process can take 3 to 4 months. As I mentioned before, we do collect a lot of documentation, and families are busy. So as we get the information from families, we collect it, ensure that we have everything, and then put that information into what is called a foster care study. This is just a document explaining more about the family, including everything from what motivated the family to foster. We look at medicals and clearances, training that's required, all of those things. Families get to do their own little autobiography, so we incorporate that information into the foster care study. The family gets to review the foster care study when it's complete, and that document is used to share with the county children and youth agencies when looking to identify the best match for a child that needs to come into placement. So for example, if we get a call for a 17-year-old, but in your foster care study process you've shared that you feel like children 10 and under would be best suited for your family, we would refer back to that foster care study before even reaching out to ensure we put a placement in that would be the best available for that child and for you as the family as well. Your foster care approval certificate lasts for 1 year. So we issue the certificate after we have received everything and completed that foster care study. So a year from that date, we would need to do what is called a re-evaluation, just to ensure that all of the documents in the file are up to date and that the foster family has completed the required trainings each year, as well as clearances and medicals are updated as well. For training for families, initially we ask that families complete our mandated reporter training, as well as the reasonable and prudent parenting standard training. Both of those trainings are available online and families can do it at their convenience. So if you're busy during the day and at 9 o'clock at night you want to log onto the computer and do those trainings, that option is available to you. We do try to make it as easy as possible for families to get those trainings in. The third training that is required at initial approval is our orientation. And that orientation we do in your home. And at that point, we are reviewing all of our policies and procedures for foster carers and explaining next steps. So you'll understand all of the forms that we might require or what to do in certain circumstances, as well as getting information to get you started. So those 3 trainings are our initial trainings for family. They take that 6 hours, usually it's about 6.5 hours. And then at your reevaluation, so a year from that date, we do have to ensure that you completed at least 6 hours of training during that time. Here at our agency, we have monthly support group meetings where we have presenters come in and share information about topics, and we encourage all of our foster families to attend. So a lot of our foster families are able to get their hours of training just by attending the monthly support group. Coming up here, starting in July, our support groups will also be offered virtually. So if you aren't able to come in person, you can do the trainings in your home and still get credit for it. Families also, we have other online trainings that are available for them that they could choose to participate in. All we ask of families is that they print off their certificate and we have them complete what is called a transfer of learning form, where they're sharing information about what they've learned from the training. Those would just get submitted to the caseworker working with your family, and then we would ensure that they were in your file. So again, our initial trainings are 6 hours, and then annually after that we have to have 6 hours per person documented in the file. Once a child is placed with a family, we have our caseworker meet with your family at least twice a month. It's a state requirement that we meet in the home twice a month. We talk with the foster family to see how things are going. So we review, How is the child adjusting? Are there any behaviors that you're seeing? How is school going? Are there any concerns with school? Is the child excelling in certain areas? Are they participating in extracurricular activities or sports or clubs? We also get updates on any medical appointments the child may have had. So it could be any sick visits. So maybe they had an ear infection or any like dental or eye doctor appointments. So we collect all of that information at those monthly meetings as well. We also touch base with families and the kiddos about any visitation arrangements. So many children in foster care have scheduled visitation with their biological family. And so we check in to see when those visits are, how they're going, if the family sees anything before or after those visits. And then we touch base with the child to see how they're feeling about the visits as well. And then the last thing we do talk about at our visits as well is any upcoming court. So for any child in placement, they do go to court. It depends on the county, the length of time in between. So it could be 3 months or it could be 5 months. But the children and foster parents typically attend court, and that's where we learn more about the progress of the case and any decisions that might be made that would affect the foster family and the child. Thank you for learning more about our foster care program here at Children's Aid Society. If you have more questions or you just want to learn more about foster care or are interested in moving forward with a process, please feel free to contact us. You can call us at 814-765-2686, extension 205, or you can email us at fostercare@childaid.org.